Hello retro gaming fans, Ryan Mcquinn here with an update to the Streets of Rage 2 ROM Editor. Now I've added the ability to replace the various music tracks throughout the ROM. I do still plan to make a built-in music editor and compiler, as well as the ability to convert Midis. For now, I have a way to convert .mub files compiled using Mcquinn to the format used in the ROM and replace the music using the new file. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use ConvFMML, a program used to convert MIDI files to MML, or music macro language, which is a language Mcquinn uses. We'll cover using Mcquinn to touch up and modify the newly created MML, as well as using Mcquinn to compile the MML to a .mub file, or Mcquinn binary. Finally, we'll cover using the ROM editor to both convert the .mub file to a ROM usable binary and insert it into the ROM as one of 26 music tracks. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to need a MIDI file. You'll see the one that I picked right here. You're going to want to listen to it anyway just to see that it sounds the way that you want it to, or as close as you want it to come out. Now, just as a warning, it's not going to come out exactly the same, just because MIDI files sound completely different than anything you're going to find on the Sega Genesis or even the Super Nintendo. Really, any game console that was back from that era. So open ConvFMML and select our MIDI file. Now, obviously you want to make sure that it's Mcquinn. Make sure that this value is 96. Don't make it any higher or lower, just because when you try and run the actual sound file or music file in the ROM, if you have it go higher, it's going to run too slow, and if you have it go lower, it'll run too fast. Definitely have a clock count enabled. Pretty much mirror what you see on the screens that I'm about to show you. Now I do want to say this one. You can do either one of these, they'll both work. And you can do either one of these will also both work. Okay, so we're down to the parts. Now, there are going to be some that are left out, but that's okay. They just won't be assigned a channel because we only have 9 to work with. We have 6 FM and 3 SSG. So we are going to have to make some concessions and just work to try and make it sound as close to the original as possible. You can place this wherever you want. Now I specifically picked this one because I've already done it. This way I can show you before and after, and I can explain all the parts and how I got to how this one sounds. And we'll leave this up. This way you have a list of the track names. If you get a good MIDI, you'll actually see the type of instrument that is being used, and you can try and match it. And I did come up with a list, and make fun of me if you like. I'm not a musician. I can play piano. That's about it. I can read sheet music, but to try and name every instrument, maybe someone that's watching could do a better job, and I definitely welcome it because we all could use the help with it. But I did the best I could. Some of them are the literal names that you'll find in Mcquinn 88, and others are just what I thought it sounded like. Mcquinn 88, originally designed by Yuzo Koshiro and ported to Windows by Onion Software, is a program designed to write, play, and compile MML to a format meant to run on the PC-88 architecture. If I'm not mistaken, the original ran on the NEC PC-88 computer system, and it had either the same or similar sound chip to that of the Sega Genesis. Luckily for us, Yuzo Koshiro shared the voice and PCM files needed to compile the MML code into a more usable format for the Sega Genesis. He also included a few of the original MML files for some of the music in Streets of Rage 2. I'll link to the page for both Mcquinn 88 and the Streets of Rage 2 files, and I'll include the Mcquinn 88 along with 4 of our own converted files with the voice and PCM files in the zip below. Anyway, let's go ahead and open Mcquinn 88 now. Okay, let's go to where... Now, I want to point out that this is usually my working folder where I work from. It's not that they are working, it's that that's the folder that I'm currently working in. I didn't place it in there for some reason, but hey, put it wherever you want. So the first thing you want to do is just try and play it and see how it sounds. I'm going to be honest, most of the time it kind of sounds like garbage. Can hardly hear anything. Okay, let's go to the one that is already done and see how it is, well, close to how it's supposed to sound. I don't know, do you think I did okay? Let's go ahead and... I have an idea. Let's put them side by side. We can do a nice little comparison. Okay, so right off the bat, you notice that the instrument is different. 57 here. Let's bring up the instrument list. Okay. So 57 is the horn. Why do I have... Oh, that's right, I was working on something else. My mistake. trumpet, which there already is a trumpet in the list. Let's see what I did to rectify that. I put instrument 23, which is a trumpet. So I mean, you can work directly from here and just transcribe over. Now, these ones down here that are missing, after you've added all the instruments to the ones that you want to change, you'll notice down here that after channel J, which is the last one, it goes A, B, C, D, E, F, H, I, J. G is a rhythm channel that's used on the NEC PC88. K is a channel that for some reason I can't get to work right. And some of the examples that Yuzo Koshiro shows, I'll open one. K is used. Honestly, I just don't understand why I can't get it to work correctly, but maybe someone else out there can. That would be excellent, because that'd be an extra channel that we'd have. And if I'm not mistaken, there's only a limited amount of instruments on that one, I think 16 in total. So if you wanted something like, say, a snare drum, some songs, you know, would have a snare drum or some sort of tambourine or such, you could use that channel for that part and end up having 10 channels in total, but I digress from that. Now, first part you're going to notice is this would be the channel. This C96 would be the, I guess you'd say, clock speed. And like I said, you want to make sure it's 96. That's the kind of the Goldilocks zone, I'll say. This at 57 signifies that it's the instrument. And the R4 is basically how long it's going to rest for. It's going to rest for, I guess you'd say, 4 steps. And this O4 is an octave. Now, there's 2 things right off the bat that I noticed that are wrong with this file. The first, we don't have any volume. We'll start out with just something mid-range or low, 10's fine. And we also don't have time. Now, we didn't add the tempo in because the Sega Genesis doesn't even care about the tempo. It cares about the this right here for speed. The reason I put time in is so it'll actually play in here. And I don't like to use tempo because I can never get it right. So I'm going to go ahead, and I've been going with 205, which has worked pretty good. Somewhere between 200 and 210 has worked good. Now let's go ahead and try and play and see what happens. Okay, so first thing, we're going to change that to trumpet, which I did over here was 23. Okay. That octave kind of dips low right there, so that just kind of bothers me a little. Now these arrows, basically this one will say the octave goes up, and this backwards arrow says the octave goes down. And I try to look for, I guess you'd say, like a pattern. I mean, we can go ahead and just try and remove one and see what happens, because we can always Control Z to bring it back in. Okay, so I think we're in the right area now. Let's also get rid of this one. Nope. Okay, We'll try this one instead. Closer. Okay. This time I looked over here to see what I did. Looks like I also, let's show you right here, I take behind the volume, bring it down and just assign that to channel A, and separate these two so it's easier to read. Change this to Here I thought it froze, but it didn't. Okay, there is one. So it looks like I removed one that didn't need to be removed. There we go. Now, I would also suggest that you keep a notepad side over here open and copy the original out, just in case you make a mistake you can go back and correct it, because undo only goes back one undo. Okay, there's also this, where you notice that these two are, you don't need two of them. I know one of them would be a supporting one that's in a, because this was, the octave was 4 up here and this one's 5. One would be a lower and higher octave. But we only have so much to work with, so you remove one of them and you're going to end up with an extra channel. And I mean, we have down here where this isn't even assigned to a channel, and these are a lot of notes to lose. So this is a huge section that we're going to lose. I would probably go through these and see which ones are essentially the same, or even just small ones like these where it's, you know, you're playing, what, 7 notes? It's not going to make that drastic of a change. You can get rid of this, and I mean, you could even go through and count them. So you have E. So right on here, just remove E. You don't need that one. All these tiny ones here, and these two right here look very close. So we'll do J. Well, it moved down one. Let's work our way from the bottom up. J and I, and also E. Now, I mean, you can go ahead and remove these yourself in here, and like say you were to remove, now you have J to use. You don't need this, and you can assign J to this. Just put an uppercase J next to each line. Now be careful, because these two actually count as one line, as you saw it moved. I know this is a lot to take in. Just experiment. And like I said, I'm going to be actively converting files, and we're going to be hosting them on one of our sites. I can link to that in the description also. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and add some volume to that and see. Oop. We need a lowercase v. And I'm not hearing anything. Now I hear it. Anyways, when you go through it, these R's are specifically for timing. They're rest periods, or where there's no sound. And they are here so that way the notes line up from the different channels of different instruments. If you were to remove all these, it would sound like a hot mess. So let's go ahead and give the rest of these volume and see what they sound like. Did that one have an instrument? No, it does not. So the one I like to do is, it's a kind of a loud one, but it's not too obnoxious, is 63. This one's not really labeled. Kind of sounds like like an electric organ, I guess you'd say. Now I want to point out that we have to have the channel first, then the clock count. Then if you only need to set the time on one channel. You can set it on whatever channel you want, it really doesn't matter. But after, time can be in between here, in between the C and the @ symbol. But you have to have the instrument after that, and the volume after that, and the octave after that. So if you were to look at it like, say, just for the sake of argument, this would be the most optimal way of formatting it. And you can put the octave on a different line, that doesn't matter. But you want to keep how it's set right here. And to be honest, you can actually set the volume higher or lower within the code down here if you really wanted to, like you do V15, and you can turn the volume up by 5. You can also change the instrument that's playing during it if you wanted to. Heck, you can even add notes if you want to. So say you wanted to add an F right there, and you can either do this to have it drag out, or just do that. I'm going to also link to a document that explains all this and shows you, proper formatting and whatnot. So let's go back to adding volume to each one of these. Let's try and hear what it sounds like. That's a hot mess. Sounded kind of cool in the beginning, but you get the picture. Just go through and try and get the correct instrument. You can sit there and do one by one and just see how it sounds. But anyways, let's go ahead and open the one that's already done. Okay, we are going to click Make MUB. That basically instantly compiles it. You can close this if you want. And like I said, I'll include this. You can modify it to your heart's content. If you want to try and help out and, you know, submit it, I can definitely update it and add it to the actual zip file. You can close this too. Don't need that open. Now, it's going to save the MUB file in the place where the MUC file was, MUC file, whatever you want to call it. I think what each one stands for is, I think this is MUCOM binary, and I think MUC is MUCOM code, maybe? Yeah, that's right, it's in MML. There we are, here's the MUB file. So we can, you know, just for the sake of me being able to know where it is. It's already there. And why not replace it? Okay, on to the ROM Editor portion of this. Finally, we've reached the ROM Editor portion of the video. Now that we have a .mub, we can convert it and replace an in-game BGM using the ROM Editor. Oops. Don't mind me fumbling around. Now I figured I would show you copying it into the ROM for Syndicate Wars and the original US ROM to show you that they both work. And we'll just pick a random BGM because we could check it in the options menu. Start with the original. I don't know why it pops up like that. Apparently I already had it open on the bottom too, so... Music inserter. Start out, let's go ahead and open our MUB. And... where do we want to put this? You know what? Why not? We'll just put it right on the desktop. Okay, we're gonna do 22. Don't mind the other binaries. I've been at this for a while. And let's pick a ROM. Definitely want to make sure you pick the right version if you have more than one in here. And we'll just call it that. Go on that one. And now let's open it. Ooh. Okay. There we are. And which one was it again? 22. Okay, So let's go ahead and reopen this for the Syndicate Wars ROM. We'll call this SW. Yeah, something random, I guess. And you know what? We'll do 9. How about we go crazy? How about we put a bunch of them in? Start out with this one. I don't really like the Bowser one. I gotta redo that one. We'll go with Mega Man 2 opening. Select your turtle. Let's see, 7 will be Super Shredder. And of course I put Take On Me in here by Aha. Now let's check this out. There it is. Okay, so BGM 1. Okay, so I gotta work on that one too. Anyone that saw the video where I inserted this song into the TMNT Revenge ROM hack would know that one. Okay, let's see, 18 and 20. I like that one. Anyone can tell me where that's from in the comments below? And just to show that this isn't one that was duped or anything. Yep, all the other ones are still there. I do believe that's it. If you need any help with using Mcquinn or, I mean really anything that I showed today, don't hesitate to ask. I really want to start getting more music files done for this ROM. I love ROM hacks and I want to see more ROM hacks come out, and this right here is pretty much the last thing that needs to be done. I mean, G-Source did a lot when it comes to the physics of the game, sprites, I mean, you name it. We can replace the, the intro screens and the end screens We can also replace most of the text in the game, if not all. I mean, this ROM is basically hacked inside out. So, like I said, if you need any help with this, let me know. Our social media links are at the bottom. You can contact me on romhacking.net. I'll even link to our blog down there. I'll link to our sites. And I'd love to get other people converting music too. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. I am still working on building a converter, player, and compiler into the ROM editor, but I figured this will get at least some people started on replacing the music in their own ROM hacks. We are going to start hosting downloads of already converted music files ready for replacement, and once we get that up, we'll post an update. So, what do you think so far? None of this would be possible without the help and contributions of these fine people. Well, thanks for watching and have a good one.